Hey, welcome back. Thanks for watching. I want to go over my monthly budget today. I've got this cheat sheet here for you to be able to maybe see it, maybe help put it all together and help you understand instead of me rattling off a bunch of numbers. I thought maybe I'd print this off. So I get a monthly withdrawal out of my 401k and it goes to my brokerage account with Fidelity. Now, Fidelity withholds 20% for taxes. And so these percentages will be the percentages of the net that I get each month. So for giving, we're at 11%. We give to our local church and a couple other different organizations each month, and so that represents 11% of our net. Property taxes is 9%. You know, everyone complains about property taxes, and I agree, but I'm not going to go to jail, and so I'm going to pay my property taxes. I'm not going to be happy about it, but that is 9% of our monthly budget goes to our annual property taxes. Utilities, that's the water, sewer, trash, phone, internet, electric, natural gas. That's 13%. And again, that will fluctuate because here in the wintertime, the natural gas prices are much, my bill for natural gas is much higher than it will be in the summertime. And then my electric, I'm on a solar plan. I don't own my solar panels. I've not really mentioned my solar program, but so my electric bill doesn't really fluctuate a whole lot. And I can make a video about the solar, but the program I am on is no longer available, and I don't own my solar panels, and so it's just it's a different program than anything anybody's used to, and so I really haven't talked about it because it's not, the program is now canceled because it what do they say, it just ran out. There was a deadline, and so anyway, but my electric bill is fairly constant throughout the year, and it's mainly in the summertime. Obviously, I'm making a lot more solar than I am in the winter. Anyway, this video is not about my solar. Car maintenance, so I set aside a little bit each month just for car maintenance. We, for oil changes and that type of thing. We really don't have any car issues. I mean, as of now, knock on wood. But, I do set some back in my brokerage account just to have cash on hand for big things like that. And then in Illinois, I think our license plates are like $155 a year. And so for 2 vehicles. So I take monthly, and just have it set aside. But that's about 2% a month that I've got earmarked for that. Gasoline, that's at 5%. It's really a hard number to kind of come up with, but just kind of, and that's probably a little high actually. But that being said, that's about what I've got set back just on, penciled in to spend on gas each month. So. And then we've got the groceries in the household. This is another really tough one to try to figure out and decide. But every time you go to the grocery store, you spend $100. Even if you go for a gallon of milk, it's $100 because you end up getting other stuff. But it's really hard to kind of nail this down. But I've put that at 10%. The eating out is 6%. We go out, with our church occasionally after services. We'll sometimes if we've been running around, we'll eat out. We are out with the grandkids a lot. We eat out. We do eat out a lot. Obviously, that does lower the grocery bill, I suppose, or the grocery category. But but we do spend quite a bit out to eat. And again, that's part of being retired and doing what you want, But all in all, that's kind of what I've got earmarked for that. And again, none of this is zero based. So if we run out of money in an account, in a category, our life isn't over for the month. But you got to start somewhere. We gifts and taking care of the grandkids and stuff. Well, again, I've mentioned we are with our grandkids a lot, and so we do spend money on them. We spoil them, love them to death, and so we've got 7% of our budget is set up for gifts and that type of thing. My wife, she spends all year buying gifts and buying things. She never spends full price for anything. She's always buying gifts, and there's actually a room in our basement that is full of gifts that she'll pull out when the time's right. So anyway, so we've got 7% marked for that. It's not a big room, so don't, anyway. And then health insurance and HSA. So, I am on my employer's health plan, just like I was working, and I'm paying the same price I was when I was working. And so, and then I set back a portion of my withdrawal each month for the HSA, and that represents 8% of my net take home every month. So 8% of that is for health care. And then my homeowners and my auto insurance and my umbrella policy we have is 9%. I did go talk to my agent last week, and we did get some coverages. I got my premiums lowered. Just kind of made some small adjustments to the policies that we had, and so I did lower my especially my umbrella policy. I cut that in about half by making a change to some of my car insurance. So I don't think I'm going to go shop. Or let me say it this way: I've been with my insurance company my entire life, my entire adult life, and I'm really satisfied with them. I really like my agent, and I'm really loyal, and so it's really hard for me to go and shop it, but I may need to. But I really don't know that I'm going to get it any lower, basically because everybody's covering the same amounts, and so I may shop it just to see where I'm at. But it's going to take me quite a bit to get me to move. But it may be something I do later on this winter, is go and shop my insurance just to see where I'm at, and then putting back just to have on hand to this 20%. That's just unexpected bills that would come up, or just miscellaneous spending. And again, this is just kind of something earmarked and set back. It's not something that we're spending out of down to zero. It's just the money that will be available. Some months we may spend 40%. I don't know. But if 20% is what we've got earmarked, and then we can build up, and even if we just spend a little bit out of it, well, that money's just sitting there. But I had to, I just kind of put something there to have in a category. So these may not equal exactly 100%, basically because I've just kind of rounded things up and down. But you get the gist of where I'm at here with my my budget. So it's your budget is your most I don't know, I'm going to say the most important thing about retiring. Because if you don't know what your budget is going to be or how much you want to spend, you don't know how much you're going to need. And obviously, you can reverse engineer it and say, well, I've got this much. This is what I can spend. But I think they do go hand in hand. I mean, you can't have one without the other. And so, it is important to get a budget and to really figure out what your budget's going to be. Your spending is going to be different when you retire because, now I don't have overtime. I don't get bonuses. I don't get any of these extras, the holiday pay, that type of stuff. And so what I get is what I get. And we've got we've got a spending plan down all the way down to, I think, October of 28. And so, and again, this would be just our monthly expenses. But that being said, with a budget, we was able to do that. Having a budget, we was able to plan and look ahead and put it all together. So anyway, I've kind of rambled on. I do want to remind you, though, I do have a phone number if you want to text me, and several have gotten a hold of me through the text. If you have a question or comment you'd like to mention, in private instead of in a public comment, why that number is 618-608-0152. Just send me a text. I do appreciate if you'd include your name and your location. But if you do that, we can chat there. And again, many have, but that's 618-608-0152. And I hope this helps, kind of give you some idea of where you need to be for your budget. And just, if you can dial in the things that like your insurance and your utilities, that type of thing. If you can dial that in and really know what you got there, then I think the rest you can kind of pencil in and kind of roughly guess where you're going to be on that. So anyway, start with what you know, and then kind of work out from there. So with that, I'll close. I'll say God bless. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.